I also love Game of Thrones so much. Like, have you guys been watching Game of Thrones? I'm just catching up on it. You have? Okay, great, great, great. For those of you who didn't like fucking scream when I said that, you just might not know what it is. So Game of Thrones is a fantasy show on HBO that is about anal sex. And the story circles around a couple of women who get out of the bath and they're totally naked, and then they just get fucking pounded from behind by everything. And like the whole time they have this like look in their eyes where they're just like, we're doing it doggy style because we're ancient and mythical. But that's bullshit, because I know for a fact that doggy style was invented in the 90s, and it was invented by T-Boz from TLC, and that a scrub is a guy who looks at you while you fuck. So I'm not gonna fall for that. Also, the other thing that really bugs me about Game of Thrones is I really hate the name of the genre fantasy. I find it very presumptuous, and I also find it very boring that it seems like everyone in the world, or at least in Hollywood, like just kind of seems to have the same fantasy where they're just like, okay, dudes, time to make a new show about the fantasy. And then they walk into a room and they're like, okay, the fantasy. Are you typing? Great, the fantasy. Here we go. I'm just spitballing. Okay, here we go. I'm riding my lion into battle. I'm wearing a full deer. It's very warm out, but snowing. And it's just like, oh, Jesus Christ, that's everyone's fantasy. Like, I'm sick of feeling like such a monster just because my fantasy is so different from that. Like, if I could just take a moment to share with you guys what my fantasy is. I don't know if you can tell from my voice, but I am a homosexual. My fantasy is, okay, it starts with Mr. Echo from Lost. Dressed as a madman from Mad Men. And he's talking to Matt Damon as Jason Bourne about what they should apologize to me for. And after hours, they decide they should apologize to me for like how good pizza tastes. Like, that's a pretty good original fantasy, and I would love to see it on screen. Like, why don't you just fucking call the fantasy genre what it is, which is like alt, medieval, horny nature magic? That's a fucking great name for a genre, and I would watch a lot more of it. Okay, I'm Gabe Liedman. Goodbye, I love you, goodbye. Bye.